He sighed and put down the scratch glass he'd been trying for so long. The act had evolved into futile polishing. I've been thinking about it for a while. All my family's there, and now my dad's sick, and I need to go there to help out. I'm sorry. And I believed him, but I needed him. Where am I supposed to go, Andy? I asked him. What will I do without you? Go home, he said, then sighed again, this time with utter defeat in his voice. Look, I know there's some reason that you're out here every night. Things must be hard for you at home, and I've never asked you why. That's your business, and I respect that. But you're going to be 18 soon, so I strongly advise you to get the hell out of Dodge. Leave, find some job, and make your own life. Tears began to well in my eyes. I can give you some cash if you need it, he said. It's not that, I said, as I wiped the tears off my sleeve as soon as they swooped. It's... What? You can tell me. Come on, he said with slight antic in his voice. He put the glass in a cupboard behind him, slamming it down harder than he needed to. And as the remnant ways in which I could explain what I was going through tumbled through my mind, one obvious and cremated idea seemed to come up more than others. I hadn't thought to put it into words before, but this particular word was, in its ridiculousness, perfect. I'm cursed, Andy, I said. For a moment, it seemed like he stopped breathing, and his eyes looked like they were assessing me in the same way he assessed his real whiskey-drinking patrons for signs to cut them off. Cursed, he answered finally. And that was enough acknowledgement for me to spill my guts out. I told him everything, and when I was done, I felt embarrassed, crazy even, but also a little bit lighter. Andy was quiet for a while after that. I dared not to look at him. I wanted him to process what I told him, give him the chance to make up his mind on his own. I meant, it was a crazy idea, and anything more I'd say would only strengthen that disbelief he held. So I let him stir. He began to do his final rounds, putting chairs back under the tables and checking the locks. I was sure he had enough. He was finally kicking me out. Sniffed out my bullshit, realized that I've been pulling his leg all this time. He stood by the door with the keys to the bar in his hand, looking at me. Show me, he said. I didn't even know if I could show him if the curse was purely subjected to one person, or if others really could see those dark shadows lurking. But I had to try, so I walked outside without saying a word. He followed, locking the door behind us. I'll walk you home, he said, all the way. And so we began to walk. At first, they seemed reluctant to come forth, and for once, when I needed them, they wouldn't show. Maybe they were smart like that? We walked about almost half the trip without saying a word, and with nothing at all happening. Andy kept looking around, but his sweeping head began to turn less and less, until he was simply staring forward with a disappointed and worried look on his face. With no less than a quarter mile from home, I saw it. It was standing on the slatted rooftop of a fancy Midwest modern house. It seemed to emerge from the darkness of night itself, its features dimmed and visible only by the aura and faint streetlights. But it was there, Its body stood in at least 9 feet tall, with long, sharp arms that seemed to drag on well below its knees. Its face was blurred, but I knew it was looking at me. My legs screamed in agony for permission to run, but they stalled. I had to stall. This was my last chance. Andy walked a few feet in front of me until he realized I was no longer by his side. He turned towards me with absolute confusion. When I looked at him, I realized my eyes were strained, and from how unnaturally opened I'd kept them, with teardrops forming at their edge. I wasn't sure what to do, so I simply looked at the rooftop again and asked him, "Do you see it?" I'm not sure if I was relieved or scared to death when he simply answered, "Yes." Without a word, we began to run. What else were we supposed to do? I led the way towards my house, and I could hear behind me how Andy's breathing became ragged and malfunctioned. Glanced back at him, I could see his legs detouring slightly as he strained his head to look back at each and every rooftop, a shadow with steer fright. There were more now, and even though Andy was obviously having trouble keeping up, he wasn't the physical type. With him by my side, I could hear my own mind clear. Home wasn't far, and it wasn't much better to do this with anyone else, even if I felt terribly scared that Andy would contract the curse as well. Finally, we stopped on the opposite street to my house, and I said, "We're here," as I pointed to my house. And he sat down on the curb. He was breathing so hard at that moment that I thought he died. "Come on, you can come inside. Let's go, Andy," I said, and we hadn't seen anything out of the ordinary for the last stretch of our run, but that left me with the yawning curiosity of them catching up. Andy's breath finally normalized enough for him to speak. "That's your parents' home?" "Yeah?" he asked. "Yeah." "And are they home?" "Yeah." "Come on, let's go, Andy. They'll catch up." "And how do we explain you coming home with a muddly middle-aged man in the morning?" That was a fair question, and one with no obvious good answer. But I didn't care. That explanation was going to be better than sitting down waiting for those things to catch up with us. "We'd pretend I snuck out to go drink at your bar, and you ID'd me and found out I was underage, so you brought me home to tell my parents, and I hurried." Andy got up and said, "That's not going to work for a number of reasons. But listen," he said. His voice sheared off the fringes of fright to make way for something serious. Andy looked around the rooftops and the shadowy lawns, giving an extra second or two to evaluate the long road behind us. Then he turned to me, and then he clapped my face between his hands, which had thick capsules that scratched on my cheeks. "I believe you. You're cursed. I thought you were making it up. But as we ran here, I thought about it and what it means. I know you're not lying. Now, we probably don't have much time, and I'm not coming inside your home. So I need you to listen to me very carefully." He let go of my face, and I nodded, giving him my full attention. "Do you know where or how you got it from?" The curse, he said.